Tonight, we're going to tie a pattern that is part of the FFI Bronze level program. This is a woolly bugger and very simple to tie. We're going to go through it based on the recipe and the things that the FFI evaluators are looking for when they evaluate these flies. This pattern it's not difficult, but there are a few tricky points that the evaluators do look for. So we'll go through that. So let's go. Let's review the materials. All right, what we're gonna need. I'm using a UTC 70 denier in olive. Again, the hook I'm using is a core 1720 uh, size 8. The tail is going to be an olive marabou. This is a extra select marabou feather. The body is going to be olive chenille, and this is a medium chenille. You can use a small also. And the hackle is this is a whiting American hackle rooster neck, appropriate size. The hackle should be 1 to 1.5 times the hook gap of your hook. And then for the ribbing, we're going to use a brassy size copper wire. And then I'll finish the head with a little bit of head cement. All right, with that said, let's start tying the fly. First thing we're going to do is we're going to put a layer of thread on your hook shank, and we're going to leave about 1 eye length behind the eye. We're going to leave that open. That's going to be for our head, and we're just going to we're not going to tie into that area until we're finished. At least we're going to try not to. So we're going to come back to right where the bend starts. And then we're going to stop. And then we're going to grab our marabou. What you're looking for is a marabou that has a lot of movement. You can see that has a lot of movement to it. The ends are straight. There's no broken ends. If you see this feather here, if you can see, you can see how many broken ends are there. This would not be a good feather to use. You want to select a feather that has nice straight tips, a lot of movement to it, and no broken ends. All right, we're gonna gather that up, and then we're gonna measure. Now, sometimes if you have other marabou besides this, you may need to use 2 feathers. So you want a full feather, but you don't want or a full tail, but you don't want a tail that's overwhelming. You want a tail that kind of matches the fly. So we're gonna measure. We want it a hook length long. Once we have that length, we're going to transfer that. We're going to put it in, and we're going to make a couple. I'm just going to cut some of this off here. We don't need all of it. We're going to make a couple pin traps right at the where the bend starts, and that's our tail. Now, a trick to getting your body to look good is now we're going to lift up our butt ends, and we're going to come forward to just near that open space, just behind that open space. We're going to pull back with our butt ends. And we're going to make a couple wraps and lock that in place. Take a few wraps back, and now we're going to trim what's left. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to tie in these butt ends, and that'll give us a nice smooth body. If we would have cut our butt ends back here and then wrapped, you'd have a big bump in the back. You wouldn't have a smooth body. And that is one thing that they will look for. So we just wrap back. As you can see, our body is smooth, no lumps, no bumps. It's a good looking body. Good. All right, now we're going to tie in our chenille. Again, we're going to use olive chenille. And to do that, we're going to come back up to the front. Just remember, we're leaving that space open right behind the eye. Now we're going to take our chenille, we're going to tie it in Spin your thread counterclockwise to flatten it so it jumps back. We're going to tie that in. Maybe. And as we go back, we want it on our side of the hook shank. Again, we're gonna tie it in the length of the body. And we're gonna come up. And then the next thing we're gonna grab is our wire. And our wire we're gonna tie in on the opposite side of the hook shank, side away from you. We're gonna tie that in, again, full length of the body. Everything we're gonna do is a full length of the body. That way our body is nice and even and smooth. Once we have that in, we can come up to the top, right to that spot of our space behind the eye. We can start wrapping our chenille. Touching wraps, not overlapping. We want them to touch. Moving forward, we don't, nice smooth body. Once we get up there, we can tie that down and trim that out. All right. So we still have our space for our eye. Now we're going to take our hackle, and as you see this, if you look at the stem here, it's really thick. This is not going to be good. Plus, there's a lot of fluff. So we're going to come back to where the fluff ends, and that stem starts to taper down. And maybe a little bit more. There we go. Now we're going to expose some of the rachis, some of the stem, and we're going to tie that in with tight wraps right in that area there. All right, once we have that, we're going to stand it up. Now we're going to wrap one complete wrap right in the front. I need to use hackle pliers. One complete wrap in the front. We want our doll side facing back. We want this to cup back as we wrap it. Now we're going to do open wraps. We're going to try to get evenly spaced. We're going to try to get 4 wraps. Our 4th wrap is going to be right behind the eye. And once we get it there, we're going to take our wire and we're going to come underneath and we're going to capture that feather right at the base. 1 wrap, and something they're going to look for, there has to be 2 wraps of wire right beside each other at the base. Once you have those 2 wraps, we can let go of the feather there. We're going to trim that out. But now we're going to start moving forward, evenly spaced between 4 and 5 evenly spaced wraps, moving up our body. We're wiggling the wire as we go. That'll keep you from trapping any fibers. And then once we get up to the head, we're going to finish at the head. We're going to tie that off. Once we have that tied off, we can bring our bobbin up, and then we can just helicopter that wire out. All right, now let's trim our hackle here at the base. And we're going to we're going to sweep everything back, and we're going to start ahead. Now our head should be equal to the length of the eye. Now if we have our spot that we saved and kept open, we should have that amount, that spacing. We're just building up a nice tapered head. It kind of matches the matches the fly. Want your head to be nice and smooth. Once we have that, we can come up and we can do a whip finish from back to front. And then we can trim it out. Get rid of all the fluff there. And then I'll finish up with a nice coat of head cement. And for these flies, if I was going to send this for evaluation, I would probably put a couple thin layers of head cement on it. Kind of get that head a little shiny looking good. And make sure our eye isn't glued. And that's it. That's the woolly bugger. That's a fly. Again, it's part of the bronze level. Easy to tie, but just make sure you tie it as per the recipe. Make sure you get your proportions correct, and you should be good to go. All right, that's all I have. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment, and thank you.